now that we're done with transvestigations, though, the top of the hour ad break is the only thing that you should be investigating ways of avoiding it, by the way, even if it comes at 17, 18 minutes off the top of the hour. And our investigations found that you can avoid, say the G word, you can avoid the top of the hour ad break by subscribing for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. This is one of the most deranged things I've ever shown on stream. No, it's awesome. It's one of the most awesome things. You can also get gifted a sub. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Let's watch me and Cat.
And welcome to the Hardman Good Times broadcast. My name is Butch Dieselsteak, and today we're going to be talking about self-improvement for young men. Have you been feeling kind of down recently?
Yeah.
Well, that must mean you're not a man. When's the last time you consumed 4 raw eggs? Have you ever invested in crypto? Or are you not brave enough? When's the last time you flipped a tire over? When's the last time you ate yourself into a week-long meat coma?
What are we going to do without meat?
I don't know.
Well, what do you think can be done about it?
Fund social programs to help young adults find hobbies and socialize with each other, and more support for young men suffering with mental health issues.
It's the feminists. It's the cultural Marxists. Now the femoids have got their own little jobs gluing acrylic nails to horses or something. They only want to date the wealthy chap. There are microplastics in your sperm. You're never gonna touch a woman. Your skull is the wrong shape, and your balls are not tanned like Tucker Carlson's. You will forever be maidenless. Just drink the soy milk, Jeremy. Just grow your soy boobs and accept your bitches. No bitches. No bitches. No bitches.
Is the total collapse in testosterone levels in America.
Man, how are we gonna do without men this time?
Chronically
Hello,
bitchless.
woman here. Guys, gals, and NBs, I've got some news. Someone found the rotten corpse of Gamergate, ripped it out of its shallow grave, and is letting the maggots slowly crawl out of it for hours upon hours, propped up in front of a Shure SM7B mic. Straight men are having a crisis. If you'd like to have a laugh and an aneurysm at the same time, I suggest you check out the Incel Wiki to read up on some theory. There, you can enjoy reading up on peer-reviewed concepts such as female sneakiness. They've even provided us with a picture of Eve with bare boobs, eating the apple, even if told not to. And you can click on the word boobs there if you're not sure what those are. They even provide helpful citations such as the music video for No Scrubs by TLC to demonstrate hypergamy, even though their ideology is much the same as in—
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, like, they're making some points. Okay.
incels. The front-facing influencers of the manosphere won't call themselves incels because the incels are their customers. These alpha males, in fact, used to be just like you, but now they are the ones who have made it to the sex haver citadel, the top 1% of males who have hacked the female brain and fitness game, and they're there to teach you, young Chadawan, how you can get there too. You don't need to be 6'7", have a jawline that could cut glass or inject cooking oil into your biceps. You just have to take the red pill. The current zeitgeist of the red pill are Tweedle P and Tweedle Cum of the Fresh and Fit podcast, with Fresh and his little CEO bling chain that looks like it came from an incel subsidiary of Claire's Accessories, and Myron Gaines, a guy who literally named himself Admiring Gains. Hold in your puke. We've only just started. The Fresh and Fit podcast serves as a marketing vehicle for Rollo Tomasi and his successful book and blog, the rational male, which spells out red pill theory with a supposed scientific backing. He's supposed to be a modern dating expert, but he's been married for 25 years to a woman who I assume is extremely adept at compartmentalizing, as I couldn't
Damn, dude. Beacon of masculinity right here.
imagine having a husband who's drawn a sexual market value graph, especially one that starts at age 15. Rolo calls himself the godfather of the
The
red.
transvestigations broke my brain. Now, literally, I'm only seeing... every time I see someone, I'm like, they're trans. It's straight up. I think it has like this weird leaking effect where I'm literally looking at this and I'm like, oh, what about their clavicles? Typical FTM, okay? Straight up. Look at how feminine energy, look at how the feminine energy is just coming out of her eyes. No Adam's apple, notice.
Red pill, but I think he looks more like the incel crypt keeper, the one who's
Riddles 3 you must pass to enter the sweaty basement of the Manosphere.
Unfortunately, there's not enough BuzzFeed videos going around these days of extremely cringe radfems for angry menonists to rack up millions of views by providing their extremely insightful commentary on them.
Why are women perceived as the weaker sex?
Probably because statistically speaking,
See, if you
women
understand
are
what humor
physically
is and how it
weaker
works,
than men.
which I'm
Not
guessing
all
you don't
women,
because
if
you're
you take
feminist,
a stat of
then you
every
know that the
single
things that
guy
make
people
people
like
laugh
right
have
now
their
will
roots in very
generally
dark
speaking not be
subjects.
as
Christopher
physically
Hitchens
Quote the
strong
amazing
actually
as
broke
the
this
men.
down.
If you're talking
You
about
guys are still
strength,
strength,
then yeah,
Wait, let's do the...
humor. They also think of humor as like
That's why we separate
Why do you think women are obsessed with humor?
BuzzFeed, you owe feminism reparations. But now certain YouTube channels have learned that you can spike unsuspecting young men who are simply looking for self-improvement advice with a cheeky red pill via the algorithm, such as this one, which uploads videos titled things like "The Ultimate Guide for Young Men, How to Get Your Life Together," or 9 Strange Ways to Boost Your Confidence, and soon enough you'll have fallen into titles like Toxic Masculinity is a Myth and Why 95% of Men Are Single and Lonely and The Danger of Celibacy.
Yeah, why 95% of men are single and lonely? I don't know. Maybe because they're watching your videos, dog.
Or
Also, 95% of men are single and lonely. That statistic is...
How Women Manipulate You. This channel in particular has become extremely popular, even though it's just stock footage with a computer generated voiceover reading a script that sounds like it was written by an AI whose only data input source is the diary of a 15-year-old boy who got rejected by the popular girl in class one time and has constructed his entire personality around it.
1. If you're unattractive, then don't ever try to flirt or even approach us. Whatever you'll do will automatically be considered creepy to us. Each word you say makes us puke. Poor
What?
people mostly lack self-confidence.
Bro, what the is that, dude? That is so psychotic. This is just suey fuel, isn't it? That's what this is, right?
And also, many poor guys are desperate to get girls. Being rich makes you valuable. Women love it when they get attention from someone who is valuable in society. It's every girl's fantasy. Remember 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes, their favourite media to reference when applying generic armchair psychology to all women is the movie 50 Shades of Grey, of course, because that book was written by all women. It was actually me who wrote the line, "I feel the colour in my cheeks rising again. I must be the colour of the Communist Manifesto." Nothing turns me on more than Marx. I'll take the knee for you, Carl. We also all wrote B-Movie.
Did you know that all women want is a man with a furry little butt? She wants a little tiny furry man with wings that she can trap under a glass whenever she wants. And also, you're never going to fulfill those
Okay, this
unattainable
isn't
body
real.
standards
This is
because
her
you're a
joke.
big
She's
loser monkey
joking.
human without a bee sting, and each word you say makes her puke. And also, this is every girl's fantasy. Remember B-Movie.
But hang on 1 minute. How will you ever be able to learn what a woman really wants by watching B-movie if it's not available on US Netflix? Well, my friends, do I have something that could help you with that? That's right, this video is sponsored by Surfshark.
To talk to that guy.
If you do so much as even try to get me to take out one AirPod while I'm
Bro, what is
in the
happening?
middle of a workout, you're getting a kettlebell right up in the scrot.
So you want to talk to women at other gyms where there's not going to be that much of a social consequence. You're going to say something along the lines of, hey, I'm new to this gym, I don't come often, I just want to meet you real quick.
If
What's up with his eyes? Why is he like, he's got the crazy eyes, bro?
a guy shows no interest and I've seen him work out, like, you know, you kind of know regulars, but you don't know him, like, but you see him work out, like, oh yeah, I know this guy because he shows up at the same time I show up. And then he finally makes conversation. I'm more willing to talk to that guy versus as like someone who's like staring at me and then tries to talk to me. I'd be like, okay, leave me alone.
Myron, you had editorial control here. You could have cut that bit out, you know, the bit where she completely destroyed all of the advice you gave. But don't forget to sign up for his free dating and fitness advice ebook.
Make sure to get my free ebook. I'm going to share content with you guys that I otherwise probably wouldn't be able to share on YouTube or Instagram because it's not safe.
Well, I've been on Myron's email list for
Ooh.
a couple of months now, and I am yet to receive these hot tips and tricks that wouldn't be allowed on YouTube. He said
What kind of tips and tricks would not be allowed on YouTube? Like what? 7 ways to hypnotize women? Like how to kidnap women and lock them in your basement? How to use revenge porn? How you can use it for extortion?
days that they wouldn't be allowed on YouTube, but he links to videos that are hosted on YouTube. Myron hits all of the usual scammy sales funnel tactics. Sob story about getting bullied in school, fake
It's so funny because like all of the fans of these idiots unironically are the same people that call me like a grifter. You know what I mean? Like they're being hella scammed by these dildos all day, every day. And then they turn around and they're like, bro, you're a socialist, but you live in a nice house, bro. Scammer.
secondhand testimonials from Scott and Giuseppe, a story where Myron himself saved up for ages on a minimum wage job so he could pay $6,000 to his mentor, and how much that changed his life. So you are softened up to the idea of paying him $250 for a 10-minute call, $500 for a 30-minute call, or $897 for a 1-hour call. Myron says in his ebook that after unplugging from the matrix and realizing
those are very strange numbers, by the way. Like, why isn't it just like a round number? I don't understand.
Women want for himself, they became attracted to him like bees to honey, bees to honey, bees to honey, bees to honey. He says bees to honey 4 times in this ebook. I'm starting to think he finds bees sexually attractive now. Also, this analogy doesn't even make any sense. Bees aren't sexually attracted to honey. Bees make honey. Unless you mean
Yeah, it would be pollen.
that your workout regimen caused a swarm of women to consume various plant secretions, which they then regurgitated, and using the resulting viscous substance sculpted you into existence and stored you to consume over the next several years as a non-perishable food source, because if so, that's pretty impressive. So what's this information then that Myron's been hiding from us that's too hot for YouTube? In an email called Fitness Industry Lied to You, Truth Revealed, we get to the truth about losing weight. I bet you're all dying to know. I filmed an entire YouTube video for you on this exact thing. Check it out here, breaking down the truth on fat loss. These truths are often seen as controversial, so this video could be taken down at any time. We'd better click on the link now. What are these controversial secrets, Myron?
So for weight loss to occur, guys, calories out needs to exceed calories in.
Holy!
It's over. That's. Are we? I'm gonna have to call my account manager for that one. Might get banned off Twitch for this one, boys. I'm sorry. This is like, I didn't realize the video was gonna have TOS. These are truths that literally cannot be shown.
Susan! What are you doing leaving this off? We can't have this on YouTube! So what about Fresh? Well, he's an expert alpha, banging 9s and 10s all the time too, don't you know? Sometimes 3 in a day.
But today we're gonna talk about my W in terms of having 3 women in one day. Now, it sounds crazy, right? I met this guy at a pool party. He's an NBA player. I won't say his name for some reasons, but, you know, he's a pretty top-tier guy, head-value guy, right? So he's like, yo, dude, you know what?
So is this the Fresh or is this the Fit? Because I really don't know. Which one is the Fresh and which one is the Fit? Because this man does not seem fresh, nor does he seem fit. So which one is he? He's the ampersand. Oh, neither. At least like one of them is kind of fit. Yeah, he's the ampersand.
Mansion party, like the next day, come through. I got you. Legit, guys. I could have a threesome with them. Did my thing with one of them. Came back outside. Hopped in the shower real quick. Talked to the other one. Went back in the room later on. So basically, I had 3 girls in one night.
First rule of
that happened.
Caravan Club is that everyone gets some.
He then uses this 100% very true story to sell his DMs on Demand course for Instagram dating. Plus, it's only $1,000 for a 1-hour Instagram dating consultation call, after which you could have women react like this to your Instagram too.
No, be honest. I don't really care. Be honest. Be honest.
Okay.
Why?
I think I'm almost like, I feel bigger than you. Loki kind of looks like a new fraud in a way. Right?
I'm a Nigerian scammer.
Oh my God. Why did he let, oh my God. This was a bad idea for him, wasn't it? Holy, just getting absolutely roasted on his own show.
You look Nigerian.
Yeah, that's
and
why.
like I would think you scam.
I'm gonna pass because you look like the off-brand Kevin Hart.
Okay, now put up Myron's.
No, hell no.
Yes.
No.
True alpha males. I have no idea.
Wait, I want to see this. I want to see what are they? What is the Myron? Is that his name? Myron Fresh and Fit. IG. Let me take a look at these. Myron Gaines, unplug fit. Okay, shirtless, holding up a dog. That one's all right. With Ak and Kodak Black. He's always wearing that ugly, like Fresh and Fit shirt in most of his. But he doesn't even have that many photos. Wait, what? Why would he post this? Correction. Hater, you're a rat. Correction. I controlled rats to give me the cheese. I left the job to pursue podcasting, but I was good at what I did, and I don't regret a second of it. Shout out to all the law enforcement out there that put their lives on the line to keep keyboard warriors and everyone else safe. Safe from what, dude? Having a fun time? What is this? Safe from what, brother? Oh my God, this guy, I thought it was like, holy dude, this might be too soon, but in the picture without the shirt and the dog, you can tell he's trans. Okay, stop. We can't do that. Come on, guys. We already do too many like LGBT faux jokes and we can't. Like, to the uninitiated, they're gonna think we're like literally psychotic transphobes, okay? They're not gonna know how many trans people are doing these jokes. It's funny, but you gotta stop. Please. And also, simultaneously, I'm thinking it as well, but I'm trying not to. Okay, wait, there's a second pig? Damn, bro, look at him. He's so cool. These jokes are too dangerous for social media. I'm sure there's no drugs use going on all these elite exclusive parties these guys attend, right? I'm trans and these jokes are hilarious. Lol. They are, because this is the in group. But I'm saying, like, for the out group, they're gonna be like, what the you know what I mean? Because, like, there's hella people coming in and out of this stream on a daily basis. It is pretty funny, though. He got kicked off the force because he was not thumb-like enough. Yeah, he was too fit. Bro, what did he do? Did he go confiscate these at a Subway? Look at all these footlongers in the back. Okay. Let's continue with this video.
Idea why you'd go to Twitter for dating advice, but there's even Twitter accounts that offer seduction tips. And just so it sounds like they know what they're talking about, like it has a basis
After you
in
masturbate,
actual
women can sense it and keep their distance.
female psychology or something. They sprinkle the red pill in there to make it sound as if it's scientific, like these are guaranteed seduction techniques based on peer-reviewed research that will work on any woman. There is always an ad for a course underneath these tweets, and if you click on the course link the seduction devil wants to sell you, you'll apparently be doing the following in just 1 week: skipping the line at bars and clubs, high-fiving the bouncers, and befriending the staff. Friends.
Damn, dude, that's so sick. What such incredible success stories. How sad, dude. This is what you're
shocked, staring at
Thank
them
you,
in disbelief,
Serendipity, for the 5
attracting
gift subs.
9s and 10s effortlessly without saying a word to them, entering a cafe with their girl, receiving a warm welcome, and discovering that their regular has already been prepared.
What?
Walking into any social setting for the first time and leaving happier, smarter, and richer, having made meaningful connections. Beautiful women dropping every excuse to be around them, shooting DMs even when she's got nothing to say, finding time for them when she's busy for everyone else. And women will bring you sandwiches with chips, braless, not asked for, right after you've got a double kill bot lane on League of Legends. It's a tried and tested grifting technique of gradually convincing men that they can externalize their self-confidence and masculinity issues and solely place the blame on women. A simple enemy is always more enticing than the complex and nuanced issues of late-stage capitalism and the social stigmas of male mental
I
health.
missed the ninja
Women,
reference,
sadly,
yes.
are an easy target. Once they hate women, they no longer treat the women in their lives as equals. And then when the women are not responsive to their supposedly scientifically proven game techniques or are unwilling to be subservient wives, they will hate them even more, blame feminism and a woke society, and possibly regress into inceldom and or other alt-right pipelines. This keeps them in the grips of the manosphere for as long as possible, paying for courses and watching the content in a paradoxical mental state of both hating women and being obsessed with them, wanting to talk about them for hours on end, day after day. And this is what made it so difficult for me to try and curate all of the main talking points of the manosphere into a simple set of teachings. The space is full of like 90-minute podcasts during which they just gargle each other's Kool-Aid, regurgitating the same ideas over and over again. And here I am, worried about the runtime of this video like a beta little cuck.
Ooh, will anyone watch my video if it's 90 minutes long? It took me 3 months to make, but I don't know if
Welcome to the 9,725th episode. Next 3 hours.
Enough scams at this point to know that if you need to convince people of an idea that initially sounds absurd.
I'm gonna skip some parts of this because it's very long, right? And I want to see the meat of it. Dude, it's 1 hour and 52 minutes long. I want to see like.
And are desperate.
Oh, here.
On the rabbit
like
hole.
I'm gonna skip
onto...
like the explaining the red pill theory, debunking hypergamy. Like, I'll skip the red pill theory part, but we'll watch like debunking hypergamy, debunking monkey branching, stuff like that.
The Wheat Waffles face rating charts and are desperately trying to work out how ugly women find them with needlepoint precision.
So the skull can be divided into 2 parts, the splantocranium, which comprises all of the facial features, and the neurocranium.
But A few years ago, this Kermit-sounding ass PhD haver crawled onto the scene and started regurgitating these ideas, but with bigger words, emboldening the movement even beyond the damp basements of
Phrenology
inceldom and into popular right-wing rhetoric. This man,
You guys have
is
heard that. You guys have
Cthulhu,
seen the phrenology
inserting his
aspect of
slimy
incel shit,
tentacles
obviously.
into every video I make now, and each time he does, I realize more and more how dangerous he is. Fresh and Fit came along and took the podcast format, but instead of shouting the talking points in other men's faces, they will invite unprepared women on as guests under the guise of discussing sex and relationships, and then when
Wait, isn't that what's his face? Isn't that one of the dudes who hates me or something? Like the ones that were doing like hella videos on me, talking about how because I called them transphobic, which they 100% were and are. They got real mad and they were like, Hasan, you're racist, and also call everybody transphobic. I thought those guys hated HasanAbi, Abba, and Preach. Yeah, I thought those guys hated Fresh and Fit.
When they get there, they take their phones off them, not the male guests, make them sign a waiver, and then feed
I actually agree with you and thought you did good against Tate. Oh, nice. Thank you.
them shots until they can no longer form a coherent sentence. I, on the other hand, need to drink to perform a coherent sentence.
When you come home, I'm gonna be in lingerie. I'm gonna keep it nice and fresh and waxed for you. I'm gonna cook your food.
Oh,
you just
They
gotta
yelled at you for saying you were going to watch a video, then didn't watch your video? Yeah.
bring home the bacon. That's it.
As soon as a woman disagrees with Myron, he will kick her off for interrupting him.
She's big and beautiful, accept her for how she is. Essentially,
my big girl.
can you please stop interjecting?
Alright.
Do not ever snap your fingers at me again. You're gonna respect me on my platform.
And
period.
you're gonna respect me backwards.
No. You're gonna keep being disrespectful.
It is.
Oh, god damn, that's brutal, brother. God damn. God damn, dude. No wonder this is so insecure, bro. Look at this. Holy, you could land a plane on that, dude. Austin would be able to land a 737 NG directly on top of that. Holy. Bro, the way that they treat women on their show, from what I have seen in all the clips that I've seen, like, you know, they do the same shit to you and it'd be a waste. What do you mean? So the thing is, internalized baldophobia. Yeah, I know. Maybe I should fly out to Miami so I can give it some finesse to ride. So this is just insecurity. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm crazy that, like, I can't comprehend how people don't look at what he's doing to all the women that are on his podcast and or the way he talks about women, and can't recognize that, like, he's just a deeply insecure man. It is very weird. Like, how do you not recognize that? It's so obvious, like, what they're doing.
All right, get the f out.
No problem.
Real talk, get out. All right, go ahead. Take your headphones, get out.
Let's take several seats, guys. It's okay.
I'm dead ass. Like, get the f out of here, bro. Like, I'm not gonna tolerate no chick coming on here thinking like, oh, I'm special, but it's like, you can walk out now.
He's not in his feelings though, like a woman. No.
Yeah, that's the funny part about this. This is why, I'm sorry, but this is how it works. This is why the person who, like, takes these down can't be someone even like Ethan Klein, really. Okay, it can't be someone like XQC. It can't be someone like Ethan, because their audiences don't respond to that, and it certainly cannot be a woman, because they literally just, like, even though half of their audience looks like XQC or looks like Ethan or looks like, you know, every other person that they're going up against, they see themselves as, like, they look at shapes and sizes and colors. That's all they look at. It has to be someone who, like, who just looks like a Chad. You know what I mean? And not only that, but it certainly cannot be a woman, no matter how they look like, because like, automatically the audience just not respond to women as, like, human beings, straight up.
No, it's not an emotional female reaction. No, it's a fact reaction.
Because, like, she's so right. She's nailing it here. Like, when these guys get incredibly hysterical, that's seen as, like, macho, masculine behavior. He's holding his ground. Like, bro, no. Like, that's... Any woman behaves like that, you're going to be like, that's a bitch. She's being like a bitch. She's being hysterical. Typical hysterical woman. But no, when... Which one is this again? Fresh? Whatever. Fit? When Fit is doing it... What's his name? Byron? Whatever. This one is doing it. Then they're like, oh, that's like, he's an alpha. The Fed. Yeah, Fed and Fit. Fed and Fit podcast.
You just
The
got
bald
like
one.
Superman.
No. It's rude to cut people off.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
You gotta respect the platform and not cut people off.
That's an emotional reaction.
No, listen, it's a fact reaction.
But this isn't surprising.
No. It's not emotional. It's facts.
Really, when he literally thinks women should be silent.
Okay, I'm gonna offend some people, so I can't wait for him to queue up the "How dare you" sign.
Oh no, my man. Oh no. Bro, this dude's hairline is this dude's hairline is moving further than LeBron James's, dude. Holy shit.
Women are to be seen, not heard, bro.
How dare you?
You know what I'm saying? Especially if I bring you to a function, shut up and don't speak unless people speak to you.
Are you triggered, Myron? Each episode goes a little bit like this.
There's more and more single mothers with mental disorders and all of their kids are criminals, and it's all feminism's fault, guys. I'm sorry, it's not because of the wage
Why
gap.
did you guys feed me so many shots?
Because the wage gap is a myth. It's all down to women's choice to earn less. And grape culture is also a myth, okay? We have the studies and the stats to prove it. It's all there. It's just the facts. I'm sorry if you can't deal with it because you're in your feelings, because you're a female, but that's just the way it is. It is what it is.
I totally agree.
See, she gets it. We love it when a female tells the truth on the Fresh and Fit podcast.
I don't think what he's saying is right. I mean...
Why not? It's the facts. It is what it is. Are you just in your feelings? She's in her feelings.
No, it's because...
Don't interrupt me. And another thing, did you know girls only have 2 holes? Yeah. The third one is just a myth. The females say that there's a third one down there just for attention. We have the studies to back it up, linked in the description, all right?
Okay, come on.
The only one here telling the truth.
Ooh.
Train them and to teach them to temper that and control. Yeah, we can, but you can't remove that. It's
sorry.
Used to back up his theories in the rational male.
I said this in book 4. You can remove.
Guys, it's 1 minute and 52 seconds long.
Remove
That's why I'm skipping.
you can remove the human from the tribe, but you can't remove the tribe from the human. You can remove the what is it? You can still, well, like, what was the other question?
Friend of the show, Mooncat, did an incredible video. Okay. I highly recommend you check it out on your own. I told you I'm gonna skip through some of the parts.
Scott, it was can women not be solipsistic? Can we train them and to teach them to temper that and control? Yeah, we can.
Bro, how is this? Wait, does this guy actually have a wife? Because I've never seen someone permeate so much divorced dad energy. My man looks straight up like a victim of divorce court. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I don't believe that he has a wife. I've never seen a figure embody every characteristic down to the like weird distressed bandana, all the way to the Nike golf glasses that he has, all the way to the long hair and the guitars in his soundproof audio room. No shot, dude. What? No. No, he did not write what what? No! That's a joke, right? Stop. Listen, Jack, my wife left me. This guy's name is Rollo Tomasi. No, dude, wait. Rollo Tomasi, wife. Wifebio.com. According to wifebio.com, is Rollo Tomasi married to wife or dating a girlfriend, kids? He's 53 years old. He's American. He's the author of The Rational Male. He's been publishing blogs. He's been married since 1996. Rollo Tomasi and his wife got married. He's been married for 25 years, even though he has negative perspectives about marriage. He and his wife's married. Life looks bright. I don't believe that. He's on the Red Pill subreddit. Please break up with me. My girlfriend and I are both working with people in solid jobs. What? Now, a bit later, he gives a thread and a status update. What is he doing? He's just like writing blog posts about Reddit posts? What the
But you can't remove that. It's still there. It's still an influence.
Much of the red pill is based on pop evolutionary psychology, which is a widely criticized field of psychology in general. It is impossible to conduct studies on EvoPsych without forcing a set of humans to grow up in a life devoid of any societal stimuli, although you could probably argue that incels are the closest we've ever got to that. But they will base their theories on experiments from the modern day on people who have already been shaped by modern societal stimuli. So
There's even an anti-Manosphere. Manosphere that rose fresh and fit, but still talks on the same points. Yeah, isn't like Abba and Preach basically that? I thought that's what they were. They were like Manosphere adjacent.
all the Manosphere can do to back up its claims is use its shaky pop EvoPsych and statistics and survey data from the modern world. And they have attempted to do this with flaws. Many flaws. No, I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy with no 1-to-1 ratio on his splenture.
So we're not gonna talk about the red pill theory because we already know what it is.
Today,
and
we're
she's
gonna
gonna get more into like the each individual aspects of this, so I'm skipping that part. We're gonna talk about hypergamy. Female hypergamy is the idea that incels believe in, that like all women want to do is level up. That's one of the driving forces of the insecurity that a lot of these incels have. Okay, where they just genuinely believe that women are constantly looking for like a higher level male than their current partner, and that's it. That's like something that women are always interested in, even if they're in a relationship, even if they're happy in a relationship, they're always looking to level up.
Talking about hypergamy.
5 forms of female hypergamy.
You know the word hypergamy, or hypergamy, however you want to.
On this podcast, we don't cry about hypergamy.
So hypergamy, this is a huge subject.
Human females engage in hypergamy. Women mate across and up dominance hierarchies.
I love that. Jordan Peterson is such a red-pilled piece of cucklord. And it's like people didn't see it for the longest time. You know, part of me is like, I told you so. It took you like 6 years to get to where I was 6 years ago, but still, the other part of me is just happy that like finally you're here. You know what I mean? You've arrived. I don't feel so lonely anymore. God damn it.
Small percentage of men hogging a large percentage of
Women can't get rid of their hypergamous nature and then just leave the men at the bottom to be cast away. That's terrifying.
It's widely accepted that women are hypergamous. That's it.
First of all, let's look at the supposed evidence that they have for hypergamy. This is a study which revealed that 5,000 years ago, after the rise of agriculture, a huge uptick in wealth disparity meant that there were a small group of very rich alpha males that reproduced with, on average, 17 women, cooking the rest of men into sexless oblivion. To deal with this, we developed the monogamous system, which ensured no man was left out of the reproductive sexual marketplace. This was an example of women's ingrained hypergamous nature at its peak, and if we allow the current sexual marketplace to expand to its natural conclusion, it will all happen once again.
You know, they were the incels of thousands of years ago. Yeah. They were the original, right? So they might group up to rebel against the Chad, and they will take the women and separate them among themselves. The Marxists, for example, they came to America and they destroyed thousands of years of cultural evolution. We live in a primitive sexual market. Yeah. Just like it existed thousands of years ago.
For a start, there is no consideration that this may have not been the women's choice. Many of these powerful alphas
Yeah, that was the guy in the Jubilee video that I did a video on. He's like an incel.
were probably R-wording the women in all reality and not allowing her any choice in her mating preference whatsoever.
One of the things your research has indicated is that there is a manner in which women are attracted to people who manifest dark triad traits.
Yeah.
Yes! Yes! Dude, this is crystal mommy. God, it's so tight being a man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the ladies and the MBs in the chat. When you're a man, you could just get away with the dumbest shit, okay? You could say literally the absolute stupidest shit, and the overwhelming majority will look at you and go, no, that's actually pretty good and so smart. Actually, thank you. I love that, dude. I love that.
I would
It's
add
awesome.
a qualifier that it tends to be younger women, teenagers or women in their early 20s.
There is no modern day evidence that women prefer bad boys, either when they're ovulating or when they're not. There's actually more evidence to prove the opposite. There is evidence that women are attracted to men with dark triad traits, but one of these traits is narcissism, which correlates with physical attractiveness and extroversion. And in much the same way, men are attracted to women with dark triad traits as narcissism correlates with physical attractiveness. So once the physical attractiveness and the confidence is controlled for, dark triad traits actually add nothing for either gender. Basically, you can be confident and nice and you'll still be attractive to women and men. But this doesn't stop JP stomping around podcasts talking about this like it's science-based fact. The only other evidence they have for this is the Pop Evo Psych evidence, which has not been proven to the point of peer-reviewed consensus. Peterson will maintain that cross-culturally, women have always dated across and up.
Females engage in hypergamy, and hypergamy is and this is also true cross-culturally, and it's also quite it's just as extensive in Scandinavia. Not quite, there's a bit of attenuation, but not much. Women mate across and up dominance hierarchies. Men mate across and down. Okay, and that has to be the case because obviously it has to work that way. If one goes up, the other has to go down.
This is only half true.
Up
Peterson
yours!
consistently fails to point out the hordes of studies that show that hypergamy is much less prominent in more developed countries because as an economy develops and is able to provide social safety nets and less children die at a young age, they will have less children at an older age as it is safer to do so, and they will choose a spouse later in life based on other needs, such as emotional needs. You're probably not familiar with this concept, Jordan, but people are finding other people that actually like them. So I don't know, this kind of sounds like a much better solution for all genders rather than trapping people into marriages they entered for the needs of bearing children and economic stability. But that's apparently the red pill utopia that we're all striving for.
No, that's literally the
Peterson
opposite.
and his incel minions also
Because that way, if a lot of men are going to get left behind. They're not going to be able to.
don't account for the fact that men, on average, thanks to millennia of patriarchy, earn more than women still. So it's not surprising that we're still living with the norms of a husband earning more than a wife. Divorce rates are actually lower than ever because marriage rates are lower than ever, because people are actually waiting to find someone they actually later in life after their frontal lobes are fully formed. And this is actually decreasing the chances of younger, less wealthy men being left with nobody and of old female spinsters being left with nobody. But hang on a minute, say the incels, there is evidence that women are initiating divorces when they get promoted.
I wonder why.
This means they're looking for higher
I wonder why. It's almost like all of this entire conversation hinges on giving women more autonomy, unironically being devastating for some men who are too insecure to be in a comfortable relationship with a woman that is a peer. That is the reason. Jordan Peterson doesn't even hide it, for the record. He literally straight up says it. He says that we don't know the consequences of birth control. That is one of the first things that I heard from Jordan Peterson that was like, oh, dude, like this guy is just like a straight up sexist weirdo. Why is birth control devastating? Because it offered women sexual liberation and sexual freedom, the opportunity to make their own choices, in like when they have a child and whatnot, the opportunity to be able to work in a workforce. So that's it. That's the whole, that's the big secret.
Status men.
We tell guys all the time that marriage isn't really a good institution in the United States anymore.
A woman choosing a bartender who is broke over a rich guy is just so far removed from reality.
The concept is known as monkey branching.
70% of all marriages end because the woman petitioned to have it end.
Because it's set up so that the one with less money is the one who gets spousal support.
Because they've been incentivized to do so because of the wealth transfer.
For women, like the richest women in the world, either got their money through inheritance or they got it through divorce.
They just want to protect themselves. That's generally why they do it.
A woman breaks up in order to trade up.
I could struggle with you, or I could take this money that the government's giving me, and all I got to do is sleep with you.
Ultimately, this could also be her searching for a bigger, better option.
And they believe they've got relationship equity that they can make a withdrawal on at a later date.
Women do initiate more divorces now because when they feel that they can support themselves, they are less likely to trap themselves in an unhappy marriage in which they are.
It literally doesn't make sense. If promoted women are more likely to divorce, then they're not doing it for the bag. Okay? As a matter of fact, they're doing it because they have the bag. They are financially secure on their own independently, and they are no longer reliant on any like financial support from a partner, and therefore they have the capability. They have the capability of like maintaining autonomy. So it doesn't even make sense. It's the opposite of the argument they're making.
Expected to do most of the household chores, causing them stress. There is no evidence that they are leaving them for higher value males. There is also another apparently hard
to be fair though, like they probably are leaving them for higher value males, because if you're listening to the Fresh and Fit podcast, you are a low value male. Like, I don't believe in the high value, low value spectrum or whatever they're created for, whatever they've created for themselves. But like, unironically, if you are getting your advice from these dickheads, these like insecure dickheads, then you most likely are a low value person. You most likely are just as insecure, if not even more insecure, because you can't even recognize how insecure these people are. The people that you've platformed, the people that you've put on a pedestal are literally just like an empty vessel, an empty shell of a man. Therefore, you probably are even more insecure than they are, and probably not great to be around, okay? But you can change that. And I'll tell you how.
Swallow pill that women will cheat on their beta male husbands with alphas. Another theory that Peterson backs up with particular fervor.
And I'm not saying anything for this or against this. This is a purely factual biological claim. Is they pick a monogamous marriage and they cheat with high status guys. Now, obviously in the confines of the marriage.
So what does it work? How does it work when you have a high value, high status like husband and then you f the pool boy then? Like, what is that? Then you're cheating with a low status guy? Is that how that works? Because like, isn't that also unironically a thing that happens in the eyes of these people? Like, so why is that happening? I'm too old for Twitch. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. By the way, what is the biological explanation? There is none. It's just like women be doing this and women be doing that. Meanwhile, women are getting served the top of the hour ad break at the top of every hour. I know that was a great segue opportunity earlier and I totally flubbed it and I apologize. Okay. So I'm just running it now. I'm too old for Twitch just allowed women, 10 women, to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. But if you also aren't lucky enough to get gifted a sub, then all you need to do is subscribe yourself, which you can do for $5. Or you can do for free. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Twitch Prime is free.
That's a terrible thing, but
that's a very uncomfortable subject, though, for women in particular.
Well, it's an uncomfortable subject for everyone.
Right.
Is there any evidence to back this up? Absolutely not. From survey data, men admit to cheating on their spouses more than women, but the women are catching up with the men because the most common way for someone to cheat is with someone they know, like a work colleague. So now women have been allowed to leave the
Sky
house
Spy
more.
7,
They're
thank you for the
actually
5 tier 1
beginning
gifted.
to cheat as much as men do, but there's no evidence that they've ever cheated more than men. And
What is happening right now? Why is my computer slowing down, or is the
it's
YouTube
still
video
not
slowing
the
down?
norm to cheat either, like it's somehow become socially acceptable. There's no societal shift away from monogamy. We still want to get married or settle in long-term relationships. Humans pair bond, that's what we mostly do. We're just doing it later when we're settled in life. Furthermore, there is no survey data that shows that the women who do cheat are doing so with high status men. If we're going to talk about this through a pop evo psych lens, surely it's more evolutionary advantageous for a woman not to be hypergamous and to be wary of the risk of getting involved with the wrong man who will not support her child. Since the woman has always been the more selective gender, she's always had a choice between a beta or an alpha, so why would she willingly put herself in the dangers of an aggressive, violent alpha and leave her children without a father? Why not just settle down with the beta from day one who will protect her from all of the prey?
Is there a big like lag or something? Or is it just is my PC dying? Or is the video dying a little bit? I'm seeing like the video. It's the video, right? It's not my PC. Just think of Kim K leaving Kanye for Pete Davidson. Pete must be the highest value male. Yeah. I think YouTube has been pooping a little bit.
Alphas. These red pill men are simply projecting how they see the dating market onto women when women actually see it very differently. Take it from me. If a man walks up to me and asks me for my number or asks...
Here's where you got it wrong, Mune Cat. You said take it from me. And you're a woman. So obviously, we'll never take it from you because it's in your nature to lie. Got it. If only there was a man who could explain to me what women feel and act like. I'm so sad when you came to the UK. I used my sub on Misgive just so I didn't see the ads, and now I'm sad. Yeah, you feel bad about that, bitch.
Me on a date, I'm not thinking,
oh wow, I wonder if he has a nice car. I wonder if it's more expensive than my current boyfriend's.
I'm thinking, I hope this interaction ends without this man getting angry, violent, or following me home. By getting involved with the red pill and by learning game, you're literally giving yourself a 101 on how to give women every red flag in the book. But by far the most tangible evidence the manosphere has for modern day hypergamy is from dating apps. Yeah, that's it. Data from dating apps.
And this doesn't account for, the Plenty of Fish data, the Tinder data that we have. Men do not get nearly as many options as women, and even if we're talking about top tier guys, they still cannot compete.
In a since deleted 2009 official blog post on OkCupid showed women rating men as worse looking than medium 80% of the time.
Most of the men on Tinder, of the profiles they come across, females, they'll swipe right on 60% of them. When it comes to females, they'll only swipe right on 4.5%.
But the reality is, guys, you look at OkCupid's data, and they behave a certain way.
On Tinder, women are they like swipe right. They like the profiles of only 4%. Men, when they see female profiles, they swipe right or like more than 60%.
That's a great example of hypergamy.
Time to get debunked again, bitch. You like this? Being thoroughly debunked by a vagina haver with a second-class degree in music production? There was one infamous blog post made by OkCupid in 2009, which supposedly exposed the hypergamous nature of women. It showed that women rated 80% of men on the website as below average in attractiveness, whereas men's ratings for women's attractiveness resemble more of an equalized bell curve. They jumped on this as proof of their Pareto principle. It's generally believed that this is one of the main catalysts of the modern incel movement, and the blog post was
80% of the women are attracted to the top 10% of men. Top 10% of men get 80% of the women.
eventually taken down not long after the incel attack in Toronto, where 11 people died. The incels took this to mean that big tech was trying to hide the truth of hypergamy. Ironically, that same blog post actually showed that women are more likely to be open to messaging men they see as less attractive, whereas men are more likely to only message women they rate as more attractive to themselves. So it showed that even though women rate most men as below average.
I mean, we already knew that though. Women's standards are low as okay? And they have to be. They literally have to be. As I've said time and time again. That's why I always say all you need to do is be a 7. And every man can be a 7, folks. Straight up. Women's standards are literally under the trash, okay? It's firmly hidden deep inside the core of the earth. It is super low. And you can be higher than the already incredibly low standards that women have. Like by a lot. That's why I always say every man can be a 7. Every single one of you. Easily.
They are much more likely to message them anyway. So here we are again with the incel projection of shallow dating preferences on women. In addition to this, r/Tinder data generally tends to show that men will swipe right on most women and women will be very picky, and the ones that they do swipe right on will very likely result in a match. I need to explain why this is the case. A fact that the red pill seems to gloss over is that women are always going to be more picky.
Chad says everyone can be a 7. Dude. I didn't say everyone can be an 11. I said everyone can be a 7. And 7 is way beyond the expectations that most women are used to, okay? Don't make no mistake. I'm not saying you're going to turn around and like magically become 6'4" and chiseled, okay? Shut the up. Don't compare yourself to me. Well, what's wrong with you? I'm saying every dude can be above at least a 7, okay? Above average in looks. There are a couple things you need to do, and that's it. Figure out how to groom your facial hair and figure out what kind of haircut works with your head, okay? And that could mean going full bald, all right? Hit the weights, go to the gym, develop a healthier diet, healthier lifestyle choices, shower all the time, and wear better clothing that make you feel confident, and then boom, that's it. It's that easy. More importantly than all of that, obviously, is like, being confident as well, which I've talked about many times over. Confidence is a muscle, and it comes only from within and not from external validation. If you have confidence that you are building off of external validation, it's built on flimsy ground, and it can be shattered very easily. Okay? I am standing right now, yes. And once you find your face and body type, you can figure out what styles that suit you. Exactly. It's good advice. You can complain all you want, but it's the truth, okay?
Than men when it comes to dating due to the increased risk of violence and pregnancy, not because of hypergamy. Let's have a look at some stats that the manosphere completely ignores. Younger women who have used dating sites or apps are especially likely to report having negative interactions with others on these platforms.
That's too much. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I ain't doing all that, bro. Okay, then, keep seething, I guess. That's it. There's hella people in this community that have started working out. They got, really inspired to do something, go outside, touch grass, touch weight, touch sun, okay? And if you're stink-pilled, beta-maxing, sui fuel consuming weirdo on the internet and you're like refusing the shower max, okay? Refusing the hygiene max and hobby max, okay? Well, it's not going to happen for you.
platform. A majority of female online daters younger than 50 say harassment, unsolicited explicit messages are very common on dating platforms. 60% of female users aged 18 to 34 say someone on a dating site or app continued to contact them after they said they were not interested, while a similar share, 57%.
Dude, what are you insane? I mean, look at XQC. Even that lifestyle can work. Brother, XQC is also like a traditionally attractive person and also pretty confident regardless of his lack of social awareness. Okay? And profoundly successful. You know what I mean? This is before we talk about like how much money he has or whatever. But like, you know, don't compare yourself to me or XQC or anybody like that. That's crazy. We're talking about civilians in the wild. We're not talking about who talk to an entire arena of human beings every day for 12 hours, okay? That's ridiculous. Don't do that.
Report being sent a sexually explicit message or image that they didn't ask for. Roughly half of women think dating on sites or apps are an unsafe way to meet people. More under 20s sexually assaulted after meeting offenders on dating sites. The victims in 83% of the 671 cases were female and 17% were male. Oh, and I'm not done yet. Here's a full report from ABC.
Thank you, Solero, for the 5 gifted subs. This is really important, by the way. Like, women have to be more careful in their consideration on who they are going out to dates with or who they are, like, even opening up to, partially because you can get murdered.
About Tinder's failure to act on SA reports. Of the 48 people they found who reported SA to the app, only 11 even got a response from Tinder. Almost all of those responses did not detail whether any action was taken. And Match Group, the company that owns basically everything, Tinder, OkCupid, Match.com, Hinge, Plenty of Fish, and some others, has openly admitted that they do not screen for sexual predators on their free apps. A spokesperson said, "There are definitely registered sex offenders on our free products," which is a bit like a spokesperson for an ice cream company.
Only men murder, lol, XD? No, bro, but did you not just see the statistics? Like, no, of course, it's not only men that murder. You're ridiculous, but like obviously statistically speaking, men are responsible for a significantly higher percentage of the sexual assaults and murders that even on the Tinder dating app. Why? What's wrong with you, bro? What the men are more likely to murder? Yeah, and I'm not a weirdo. Like, that doesn't mean that, you know, you should prosecute men across the board or like assume that all men are murderers, right? Unlike you probably does feel that way about like black people because you use the faulty statistic of like 1350, which is not even like real arrest. They're not even conviction rates, but instead just arrest rates. You know, it doesn't work that way. But it is something that women are, like women are considering the, you know, the physical differences. Yes, I, by the way, admit that the physical differences are real. Statistics are law. There are no exceptions to rules or outliers. Anomalies don't exist.
He's saying there are definitely flesh-eating spiders in some tubs of our ice cream. Don't blame me, I just work here. So lucky you, ladies. While Tinder makes men pay for the slight hope of more matches, you'll have to pay for the assurance that you won't be assaulted. And even then, it's not guaranteed. I cannot stress this enough. Dating apps do not represent real life. Dating apps represent an extremely shallow, gamified version of dating that artificially creates the Pareto principle. Since women are more likely to have had previous negative experiences with men, I'm not discounting that men have them too, but the fact that women have them more often than men is relevant here. So
also, on a application, you're not able to showcase your personality. Men oftentimes have a harder time, in my opinion, and this is anecdotal, okay, straight up. This is there. I'm sure there might be empirical evidence on this, but this is a purely subjective concept. But like, you don't know how to take photos. I don't know how to take photos. You don't know how to take photos. None of us know how to look good in photos and like, as a consequence of the patriarchal constructs that basically objectified women for so many years and continues to do so to this day, women are better at presenting themselves in a physical environment like that. They know, they know how to take photos. They know how to like make themselves look better. You just don't know how to do it, okay? And therefore, it's a little bit harder for you to showcase your wonderful, blossoming persona, okay? And the application is operating on the binary of like the hot or not. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for you to, have a success rate on an application. That doesn't mean anything, though. Meeting people in person is probably where you are going to have the most success.
Women are more likely to have their guards up when swiping and chatting, so this causes men...
Oh God, hypergamy? Dude, hypergamy is such a idiotic take, okay? It's such an idiotic take. This idea that, like, women are always looking to level up. Women are always looking to level up. Women are always looking to level up. It's like, first of all, women are always trying to date above their actual dating pool or whatever is such a silly take because, again, that is super subjective. And secondly, it's not like you don't want to date an attractive person that you find to be attractive. Everybody wants that. It's a normal human quality. It's not exclusive to women.
To get less matches on the ladies that they're swiping right on, and the men are getting annoyed that they're getting less matches because this leads to less of a chance that they'll find someone that they like. To them, this just becomes a numbers game, so they start swiping right on more and more and more women, and the women start to realize that whoever they swipe right on, they're quite likely to get a match with them. And because they don't want too many unsolicited pictures of male genitalia taken with a toilet bowl in the background to deal with, they start being more picky, confident that this won't matter because they'll still get a lot of matches anyway. As the women get more picky, the men get less and less picky. It's a negative feedback loop. It's not real life. Another stat that Red Pill seems to ignore, 80% of users on Tinder are male and 20% are...
As someone who suffers with autism, your advice about social skills being a muscle has really helped me be more open to talking to people, women especially, and I'm now a lot more confident and have a good chunk of friends. Thanks to your advice. I will always be in your debt, and thanks for your advice. Thank you, HasanAbi. Also, you're welcome. I also suffered from social anxiety, okay? When I was younger, I was fat. I was scared. I didn't want to talk to people. I would shut down, okay? It takes a lot of time. And it's the same as, like, going to the gym every day and building healthy habits. It's just how it works. Anyway, the Tinder men to women ratio, 78% of users are men, 21.9% of users are women. Holy shit.
Female. The bad experiences are causing women to leave the apps altogether. This means that there are women out there, guess what, in real life, who are single and want to meet somebody, not on a dating app. From the incel perspective, women are hypergamous, calculating, and uncaring as they leverage emerging technology in the pursuit of the ideal masculine partner while maximizing the resources they yield from orbiters. Women are also simultaneously sexual commodities, which can be quantitatively evaluated, subject to market distortions, or be unfairly distributed. Here, incels doubly deny women their humanity, as women are manipulative when acting and overpriced when objectified. While incels' observations are accurate, their explanations for these observations are grounded in a reductive and dehumanizing descriptions of both men and women. All of a sudden, communism doesn't sound so bad to these guys when it means the equal distribution of getting your dick wet. Another graph that they love to point to is this one, which shows that almost a third of men are now reporting no sex in the last year. But zooming out and looking at the rest of this data that this graph comes from, it shows that the amount of men sleeping with over 3 women in the last year is still more than the amount of women doing the same. On the whole, men are still being more promiscuous than women, which doesn't track with their 80% of women sleeping with all of the Chads theory. The data would suggest...
Because women aren't like women aren't going on a date and then immediately like all the time in the way that these incels think is happening. That's the other thing. Like they're a little bit more selective, but you know, good luck explaining that to all the incels.
To me, that women still want relationships with men, but men are increasingly attempting to leverage the dating apps for hookups, but are ending up more lonely than they were before. In short, guys, gals, and NBs, try opening yourself up to experiences which will help you meet people in real life. Make friends with people of all genders more, talk to people even if you don't find them attractive, because who knows, they could even introduce you to other people you may end up being intimate partners with, or maybe you've just found a new friend. It's about self-improvement, exercising your social muscle, and fighting that inner goblin that just wants to stay inside playing Dark Souls. Is that what you kids are playing nowadays? Go outside and touch. The men entering the dating market now have never experienced it without dating apps being involved, and this is a problem. The prevalence of our culture in society makes this dating app's negative feedback loop even more pronounced, as women have their guards up constantly on the lookout for red flags, scaring them off the apps altogether. Here's one post on the r/Tinder Data subreddit that I found, where a young 22-year-old man posted about his experience in the dating marketplace. 22,339 right swipes resulted in no dates for him whatsoever, and this is similar to many graphs posted there for young men. He says that his dating app experience made me waste a lot of time and money, completely ruined the little self-esteem and confidence I had left about myself and my own body, made me lose any real hopes in ever getting a relationship, family, normal life in the future, greatly worsened both my anxiety and depression to new levels never experienced before, made me go back to having suicidal thoughts after years of therapy, and as a result of my deepened depression, it also gave me a cannabis addiction and made me gain 50 kilograms of body weight due to a lack of sleep and lack of energy, etc. All of this makes this man a perfect target for Tinder, who will goad him into signing up for Tinder Gold in the hopes of getting more matches, and for the red pill community. The
literally blaming it anything other than himself. Okay, but that's a real external factor that could bum you out, man. Come on, holy shit. Human beings aren't analytical robots. They're not going to look at a situation like that and then respond like and be like, well, maybe I should fix myself immediately. Maybe perhaps I'm the reason why I feel the way that I do, or whatever the like. No. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the solution still does revolve around getting the off the dating app. And also, the building self-esteem so slowly but surely. But made you a meme. Y'all are so weird, dude, sometimes.
Dating apps and the red pill community are not making money out of finding you happiness and a relationship. The more sad and lonely you are...
Okay, but cannabis addiction? Yeah, I mean, that part is ridiculous. So what? Don't get too caught up in that, okay? It doesn't matter.
The more they've got you trapped. So why is our culture completely ignored by the red pill? Well, they don't think it exists at all. And this isn't a belief confined to the red pill itself. It's actually held by right-wing pundits everywhere.
And on college campuses, they like to say, oh yeah, 1 in 4 women get on college campuses. No, it's actually more like 1 in 2,000.
This Generation Z is having...
Where do you get that number from? I just made it up, bitch.
Least amount of sex of any other generation, but yet we live in a quote-unquote hookup culture,
Because
right?
we're using the female lens.
1 in 3,
Wait, people aren't even saying we're living in a hookup culture. It's always the right-wingers that say we're in a hookup culture. And that's part of the reason why it's like people aren't like getting into relationships and stuff. Like that... I feel like they themselves literally ended up writing these like new boundaries, and then they believed in it, and now they're just like, yeah, it's happening, but it's not even happening actually.
1 in 5 women are going to get sexually assaulted on campus, which is just nonsense.
Which we both agreed is the idea that is perpetuated, encouraged, or tolerated in a society. You would need to present some kind of data.
Because it's this idea of culture. It's the fantasy of, I don't know, third wave feminism. I don't know what it is.
I don't believe culture exists because people know that is bad.
Some surveys were run to find the
I have that same Discord partner hoodie. Oh God, I'm never wearing that again.
prevalence of SA on college campuses in the US not long before Obama and Biden were elected.
1 in 5 of every one of
People all understand and recognize that is bad. The problem with culture is a lot of things that would otherwise be considered, these weirdos don't consider rape. That's the problem. And culture is the normalization of sexual harassment and the refusal to ask for consent. That's the issue.
those young women who's dropped off for that first day of school, before they finish school, will be assaulted.
The right claim that this was not true, and they still believe that to this day, claiming that the real number is somewhere around 1 in 52 women.
According to the Department of Justice, or Bureau of Justice, about 1 in 52 of all sex. That includes,
By the way, that's still an alarming number, man. What? Like, what the? It's not 1 in 4. It's 1 in. It's not 1 in 5. It's 1 in 52. Okay. Oh, I didn't realize, man. Okay, never mind. I guess that's okay.
Playing grab.
Much more comprehensive data from the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics estimates that about 1 in 52.6 college women.
There's a vast difference between 0.6% and 25%.
To play devil's advocate for a second, the survey that found the original 1 in 5 number that the Obama campaign used were conducted across only 2 college campuses in the US, so they didn't really give a comprehensive view of college R culture as a whole across America. There is also no evidence to suggest that R culture is worse on college campuses than it is in general for people of any age, whether they're enrolled at a college or not. However, in 2015, the CDC conducted their own survey called the NISVS, which did not only ask students, but everybody whether they had been a victim of this type of crime. Its findings backed up the student survey, saying that 1 in 5 women had actually been R'd. This contrasts with the numbers obtained by the Bureau of Justice and Statistics, and these are the numbers that the right-wing pundits use. So this number is based on the NCVS Crime and Victimization Survey, which states that around 1 in 52 people of all ages has been a victim of R or SA. For that reason, there's no way for me to compare the stats for college-age women from the BJS numbers versus the CDC numbers for the college-age women, because there's no CDC survey that focused on just college women. So for that reason, I'm scrapping the college age part. We're just looking at everyone to keep this simple. So I'm going to compare the CDC's findings that 1 in 5 women have been R'd and the BJS's findings that 1 in 52 women have been R'd or SA'd. One talking point that they like to give us is that the CDC's definition for the crime is like far too wide, and the BJS's definition for the crime is very precise.
And the questions were extremely vague, not direct like the definition that we gave you guys before as far as goes according to the FBI.
So first of all, let's compare the definitions of the crimes. So there's always going to be grey areas here as to what people define as crossing the line. But overall, these definitions between the surveys are more or less pretty similar, wouldn't you say? So how did the CDC find that 50% of women had been a victim of SA and 1 in 5 had been a victim of R, whereas the BJS found that 1 in 52 people had been a victim of either R or SA? It's down to how you conduct your survey. The stigma surrounding R culture prevents people from knowing they're a victim of R or SA and even willing to admit to themselves or others that they're a victim of R or SA, especially if it was perpetrated by a close friend or intimate partner, which is most cases. The CDC used trained staff to carry out the NISVS. This survey only asks respondents about R and SA, no other victimizations. They also did not use the words R or SA in their questions, but described events to the respondents whilst reminding them that the event, if it happened, is not their fault. They didn't even make the respondents say yes because that can trigger trauma, so instead they asked how many people have ever made you and listed certain acts so that the person could just say a number. The Bureau of Justice and Statistics used the NCVS to find the 1 in 52 number. So this is a generic crime victimization survey. The staff were not trained on how to speak to people about R and SA. Respondents of this crime survey had a screening question jumped on them about R and SA in the middle of other questions which asked whether they'd had their car broken into or their house broken into or been mugged. These screening questions also used the words R and SA, and if the respondent said no, then no further questions were asked. Furthermore, an entire report was written by a board of experts to explain a ton of other factors in the NCVS which also lead to the underreporting of R and SA. These surveys also probably both still underreported because they only contacted household numbers, whilst not including places such as military bases, healthcare facilities, or domestic violence shelters. And it's also very unlikely that someone currently living with an abusive partner would sit there on the phone taking a survey about their abuse.
But you want to know why women continue to falsely accuse men of rape? Because they're not being prosecuted.
In order to keep all men and employers fearful of false accusations of domestic violence.
We cannot believe the victims as soon as they come out, because sadly, that's what these.
Okay, this is my favorite type of discussion on this otherwise incredibly serious subject matter over the SpongeBob game. That's awesome.
These women do. They falsely accuse people of, and then when you call them out, they get mad at you. And a few days later, they say, yeah, it was for clout.
You know, you can't completely dismiss.
I will never get over how much Matt Walsh embodies like a liberal soy boy in the way that he looks. He straight up looks like he brews IPA, craft beers on his spare time, and yet, like, I don't know why people just like don't point that out regularly. He just straight up looks like, it's awesome. 100% that guy from The Boys, yeah.
This very real fear that men have that some evil woman could come along and just ruin their life with a story.
In this whole era of the Me Too movement,
evil woman.
I think that we've done a huge disservice to everybody, assuming that anytime anybody's accused of anything, that it must be true.
There is currently no evidence that any women anywhere are getting any sort of benefits from accusing men of R or SA, whether it was false or not. What they're more often getting is harassment and setbacks in their careers, especially when it's a powerful man being accused. But how many of these accusations are false? Well, Rollo and other manosphere influencers like to insinuate that these sneaky
Bro, why is everybody... I don't care about the new Black Panther, man. I don't care about watching that right now.
females are doing it all the time.
So the thing is this, is that the definition basically says that any allegation of rape can only be classified as a false allegation if it has been determined after a thorough investigation that a crime did not occur. It's basically trying to prove the negative. So just because those fraudulent ones were the ones that they could record according to the definition of what it is, does not mean that 98 to 98% are true, but that is exactly what a prosecuting attorney will try to convince a jury.
It is true that we'll never accurately know, but there is an estimate of between 2 and 10%. And if it could be as many as 1 in 10, that could be a problem. Okay, so let's learn about false R allegations. To best determine whether an R allegation is false, police look at the nature of the allegation based on previous investigations where R's have been proven to be false or the accuser has retracted the allegation. Looking at these cases, the most common occurrence is a minor who has skipped school or missed a curfew, and to avoid punishment they say that they've been assaulted. In the vast majority of these cases, the parent will file the report on behalf of the child, And when the child comes into the police station, it becomes clear that this was not a real event, as they will not name or describe the perpetrator or the event. Other common motivations include people attempting to cover up unfaithfulness to their partner, anger or revenge, attention or sympathy. In these cases, when the allegation has served its purpose, it is normally retracted or dropped. Another large portion of them come from mentally ill people. These people will also very likely describe a violent attack, the type of R that we know is not actually that common. An R allegation is unlikely to be false if the victim describes a situation that involves someone that they know, an intimate partner or a friend, as the perpetrator, and the issue of consent could be construed as a grey area. But of course, we don't know. Some of the allegations counted as true could be false, but just as much, some of the allegations counted as false could be true. But this doesn't mean that police are throwing men in jail based on the assumption that an allegation is true based on the nature of it. You still have to prove it beyond reasonable doubt, which for R is incredibly difficult. Out of 216 complaints that were classified as false, only 126 had even gotten to the stage where the accuser lodged a formal complaint. Only 39 complainants named a suspect, only 6 cases led to an arrest, and only 2 led to charges being brought before they were ultimately deemed false. Here, as elsewhere, it has to be assumed that some unknown percentage of the cases classified as false actually involved real Rs. What they don't involve is countless innocent men's lives being ruined. According to the National Registry of Exonerations, since records began in 1989, in the US there are only 52 cases where men convicted of SA or R were exonerated because it turned out that they were falsely accused.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that a gigantic percentage of that is also black men as well, at least historically. I don't know if that's the case, but historically that has been the case.
By way of comparison, in the same period, there are 790 cases in which people were exonerated for murder. In the average case of a false R complaint, the charges will be dropped and the man accused, if there even is one, will never even know about it. You are far more likely to be a victim of R or SA as a man than be falsely accused of it. You're also far less likely to report it or tell anyone about it. This includes domestic violence as well. If the manosphere really cared about the well-being of men, that's what they'd be talking about. But it's not masculine to be a victim of DV, R or SA.
You know, my mom.
The single mothers raise criminals. We're gonna stop this video here because this is really long. I'm gonna watch the rest of this tomorrow.